To be completely honest, I've almost had a meltdown trying to set this up, but anyways, and there may be another one incoming. So I have a good friend named Ben who I know through boarding school. We went to school together from year 7 to 11 and we shared a room together a couple times. We always had a great time. We're both Geminis and I feel like we would just bring out the most chaotic side of each other. We were such enablers of each other. One time when we were in year 9, we decided to have this like crazy binge watching sesh. So I remember one of the boys in our year was watching Stranger Things season 2. It had like just come out or something, and a bunch of us were watching it with him. And I remember me and Ben hadn't seen season 1 of Stranger Things, but we were watching this new season with him in snippets, and we thought, this looks really cool, we need to be in on this, we should go and watch the show. So one weekend we decided to just sit down and binge the entirety of the show that was out at the time. We took our mattresses and put them on the floor of the room. We had like fairy lights up to make it, Tumblr. This was on a Saturday night, so we had just had our weekly outing into the town and bought a bunch of snacks and stuff, and we stayed up really late watching it, and then all of the next Sunday too. It was just so cozy. 10 out of 10. Recommend just binging a show with one of your closest friends. It was also like at the time a little bit scary, so we were both kind of just screaming at each other, which was funny. So there was this one time I had, honestly, like pretty close to a perfect summer's day. It was one weekend at school. I was in year 9 again. It was a Sunday. It was really hot and sunny, and also back in those days I was a summer stan. That was my favorite season, so I was loving that. We all decided that it would be a good day to use the pool that we had in school. It was only like a tiny pool, like really not big at all, but it was really nice to just like go swimming on a day when it's really hot and just get in cold water. We had like all these floats and we were playing Marco Polo in the pool, which was always so fun whenever we got the chance. Afterwards, we dried off, had lunch, and then sat in the garden, literally just like soaking in the sun, enjoying life, honestly. And then we thought an even better way to enjoy this wonderful weather was to go out to Richmond Park and just walk around. That was something you were allowed to do at school on a weekend, on a Sunday if you wanted to, if you were like really bored. See wildlife, see the deer roaming. But yeah, we just walked around for ages in the sun, got ice creams, explored. Like that was a true example of reconnecting with nature that day. It's just one that always like sticks out to me. I just remember feeling so summery and nice. Who knows, maybe I'll become a summer stan again someday. So when I was little, I would always love duvet days. I remember cuddling up with my mum on the sofa. Sometimes we'd bring our duvets from downstairs onto the sofa and we just watch movies. I have like a whole list of like really just comforting childhood movies that I love and that I'll rewatch now. But there was this one time where I remember finishing school and it was chucking it down with rain. And at this time we didn't have a car, so we had to walk home in the rain from school. So she picked me up, we trod home as fast as we can to get out of the rain. Thinking about this now, I can still like feel my raincoat on and just like feeling my feet starting to get wet. This is making it sound like not a favourite memory. I'll get to like the good part in a second. We get home, we rush through the door, get the towels out, start drying off. But then once we were home, I remember, that immediate feeling of like getting warm and cozy again. And we decided to put on a movie and we watched Bedknobs and Broomsticks, which is one that we watched a lot. It's definitely one of my childhood favourites. But I just remember that specific time, like running home through the rain and just feeling joy. So when I was in year 11, it was my friend George's birthday and he had booked tickets to the Shard and he invited me, which was great. So the two of us with like his parents went to the Shard, which was fun. Little day out in central London, had a nice meal afterwards. It was cute. So we head back to Richmond where our school is, and I need to explain this. So basically, whenever we would go out to Richmond, I think the distance from Richmond Gate to our school was bigger than some of the other gates. Didn't explain that eloquently. And so when we would go to Richmond, they would usually take us from the school into the town on a minibus. But also say if you were in Richmond, say you had gone home for the weekend and you got back there to that station and then needed to go to school, you'd be able to call the school and be like, hey, can you come and pick me up? So that was how the system worked. And so me and George get back to Richmond and we're like, right, let's walk to the gate. We'll just call up the school, see what they're saying. At this point, the sun is starting to set. It's like golden hour. We call the reception, no answer. We call the house parent that's on duty, no answer. We call boarding house phone, no answer. We called every possible person we were meant to call and no one was picking up. And at this point, you know, it's still light outside, so I think we were just like, yeah, it's fine. We'll just walk through the park and, you know, it's not that far, like, we'll get there. And so we trek up to the park, start walking through the park, and very rapidly the sun begins to set. And not long after, we are walking through the expansive reserve of Richmond Park completely in the dark. Just two 16-year-old boys, small, skinny, frail, walking through this park alone at night. And the speed at which we were walking when we realised, oh my god, we're not gonna make it back in the light. We're gonna be running around here in the dark. Also, you know, not wanting to get lost in the dark, like, hello. Not wanting to be attacked by a random deer. It was just really scary. But I look back on it now and just laugh because it's so ridiculous that no one would pick up the phones. Anytime we would sense someone else in the distance or like behind us, the panic would like rise up and you'd be like... To make matters worse, when we got back, we went to the office and said to the house parent, hey, we're back. And we explained that we tried to call her and also just other people and nobody answered. And she was like, what? No, like reception would have answered. Don't be silly. And we were like, excuse me? You look at the 7 unanswered calls and tell me what's going on then. Those are some favourite memories. Just a few. There are like so many. I mean, really, this subject matter is kind of infinite. That's it for now. Right, goodbye. I remember... Oh, fuck. I nearly spilled my drink.